You can see that I'm on the porch this afternoon. The reason being is that we're having intermittent rain showers here, something for which I we are very grateful. Uh, right now, we are very much needing rain. The Forest Service rates this as extreme or high, excuse me, fire hazard. And so we very much need some rain. We didn't have as much snow as we normally have during the winter. Consequently, our soil is drier than normal. So yesterday we got rain in the late afternoon, and it's looking like it may do the same this afternoon. And as you can tell by my jacket, it's still kind of chilly. The high today is supposed to be 53, down to the 30s at night. So every morning I get up and light a fire so that Christy and Pumpkin, our cat, can get up and walk around the house without freezing. Today we're going to start a two-part series on rest. This is part of the longer series of Christian disciplines, and one of the things that we're going to look at today is this idea of rest. And we're going to start talking about rest on the individual level. You know, how do we plan our rest? In Genesis chapter 2, verses 1 through 3, we read, Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the seventh day God finished his work that he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work that he had done. So God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it God rested from all his work that he had done in creation. Genesis chapter 2, verses 1 through 3, English Standard Version. Now, I'm not going to delve into the theology of did God need rest or anything like that. I'm not that smart, and this is not that kind of video series. However, I'm going to talk about rest, this idea of a Sabbath or resting. When I was in the Army in 1st Armored Division, we participated in the invasion of Iraq. We followed 3ID, 3rd Infantry Division, and we secured Baghdad. 3ID got us up to Baghdad and defeated the Iraqi army, and then we were missioned with securing Baghdad. And so I arrived in Baghdad in 2003 as a liaison officer with 3rd Infantry Division, and spent quite a bit of time in Baghdad. And we worked extremely long hours. I always chuckle when I hear people talk about the long hours that they worked. For the 6 months prior to the invasion of Iraq, we were working 7 days a week, usually 12 to 14 hours a day. And then once we invaded Iraq, it was very rare for me to get more than 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And this is not unusual. We were not persecuted in any way. If you talk to any combat veterans from Iraq or Afghanistan, you'll find that most of us had the same kind of experience. Long hours, extremely long hours. Eventually, Major General Sanchez, our commander, moved up to command Combined Task Force, Joint Task Force 7. Got an additional star, got to move up, and we got a new commanding general, Major General Dempsey. And one of the first things that General Dempsey did was he instituted a policy in which we would have, as a staff, his staff, 1 day a week off. And to ensure that this took place, he required that the chief of staff give him a schedule. And he would check. If you were scheduled to be off on Thursday, he would look around the command post and ensure that you indeed were not there. And he went so far as to make sure that none of us had our classified uh, internet access in our hooches, our sleeping area. And he did this because he knew that we would take our computers back to our hooches and sit there and work even when we were supposed to be off. Uh, and he did not do this because he was a nice guy. I mean, General Dempsey was a pleasant man, a good commander. Uh, but he did this because he said that one of the first things he noticed upon arrival was that we were all walking around like zombies. We had been working nonstop for so long, and he understood that we were worn out. And there was not a new division coming. He had to work with what he had. And he understood and explained to us, you all are making poor decisions. You're tired, you're exhausted, you can't think straight. And so he enforced this 1 day a week off. And on that day, we were supposed to rest, relax, do laundry if we needed to, which we all did, and enjoy a break from all the toils and labors of combat operations. You see, General Dempsey understood the human need for rest. And to his credit, I will say, uh, General Dempsey was also a believer. This did not make him a pushover as a general. He was definitely not a pushover as a general. But it did help him understand human nature and the human need for rest. We often think of Sabbath rest as something from the law of Moses. And we're correct. In the law of Moses, the Israelites were told, hey, you need to take Saturday off, Sabbath off. But you see, this idea of the human need for rest is something that God built into us, predates the law of Moses. That's why I started with Genesis. It goes all the way back to Genesis. And the Lord took time off and he set the example. And like I said, I'm not going to get into the theology of God. Did God really need rest and all that? But I am saying that God thought it was important enough that he set the example. After he created everything, he took a break. He took a pause. Our modern world just does not like this concept. It's as if we have taken an oath against resting. We all know people who they work 5 days a week, and then on the weekend they don't rest. They do chores. Some people work second jobs, and sometimes we do things that should be relaxing, but actually it's just more work for us. So people end up never taking a pause, never taking a break to recharge their mental uh, faculties. And and this is very important. It's important for you and I to take a pause, to take a breath, to sit and relax. When I was a teacher, I found myself slipping into working every day of the week. Teach Monday through Friday, grade papers on Saturday, do lesson plans while I watch television on Sunday. Uh, Effectively, I was working 7 days a week, and that was not good for me. Uh, it exhausted me. It meant when I hit the classroom on Monday morning, I was not at my best because I had not rested. I had not allowed my mind to relax and kind of do that mental sorting of previous events that we so desperately need. I don't know if that uh, recorded, but I can hear the turkeys, which is one of the fun things about our house. In Psalm, back to the subject, in Psalm chapter 127, verse 2, we read, "It is in vain that you rise up early and go late to rest, eating the bread of anxious toil, for he gives to his beloved sleep." The psalmist here is echoing, speaking for the Lord, and reminding us that our, our efforts to work all the time are in vain. They're not going to profit us. And he said, we eat the bread of anxious toil. How often have I found myself just, I work 5 days a week. Saturday is devoted to chores, or maybe running errands with Christy and the kids, or maybe running around doing good things with the children. And then Sunday it's off to church and maybe some more chores. And so we have very little time to rest and relax. I eat the bread of anxious toil. And like Major General Dempsey, I'm urging us to revisit this idea of working all the time. Sometimes there are people out there who their financial situations require that they work a lot. I got that. And that's understandable. Sometimes we are in that situation. But a lot of times we're working because, I don't know, we're looking for that next promotion. And so we think we got to work hard. We think our boss is going to evaluate us based on the amount of hours that we put in. And that's a common theme in modern working culture. I mean, Musk and his compatriots are known for working 7 days a week, sleeping in the office, leaving very little time for a mental break. Sometimes people work because they're trying to escape. Maybe their home life isn't the best, and so they want to escape. Other times people are working because they don't know how to rest. They don't know what to do. And they get their personal identity from work. Whatever the reason, we need to learn to take a pause. The Israelites struggled with this. I'm going to read next from Exodus, and this is kind of a long passage, but I think it's important for you and I. On the seventh day, some of the people went out to gather, but they found none. And the Lord said to Moses, "How long will you refuse to keep my commandments and my laws? See, the Lord has given you the Sabbath. Therefore, on the sixth day, he gives you bread for 2 days. Remain each of you in his place, and let no one go out of his place on the seventh day." So the people rested on the seventh day. Exodus chapter 16, verses 27 through 30. It's important for you and I to understand that often, like the Israelites, our excluding rest is driven largely by a lack of faith. God promises us that he will take care of us. He says in numerous places in Scripture, "Trust me, I will take care of you." And you and I tend to work in large part because we don't trust the Lord to take care of us. We don't trust him to meet our needs. Now, sometimes we like to work because we're wanting to buy that new boat, that new car, whatever it is. We're chasing after things, so we eat the bread of anxious toil. We're like the Israelites. We don't have faith. And that's the important thing that I want to leave with you today is, how is faith, or a lack thereof, fitting into your work schedule? Do you have the faith to trust God to take care of you? And see, that's the thing about the Sabbath. We're not like the Israelites. We don't have a law that we have to keep up with. But we are like the Israelites in that we need to have faith in God that He will do as He promises. So really, our Sabbath, or lack thereof, our inability to slow down and rest, may very well stem from lack of faith. Do we trust God? Do we trust Him to do what He said? So think about this. Spend some time turning over in your mind this idea of rest. Do I rest and recharge my mental faculties? Next week, we're going to look at how can we build rest into our daily schedule, or our weekly schedule, I should say. We'll look into that, the impact on the family. And there may be one more episode on rest. So, thank you for joining me. I hope that you have time to rest. And I hope that this has been good for you. If it has, leave a comment, leave a like. Help me to make this better. Help me to make this time worthwhile. And as always, have a good day.